What's going on, everybody? It's AG here. It's time for week 9 of my college football top 25. We had about 3 or 4 top 10 teams go down this week, so we've got a lot of movement actually in the poll. So let's go ahead and get into it. Join me down in the comment section. Let me know who you think needs to be on this list that is not, and then who needs to move up, who needs to move down, all that good stuff. And if you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. Starting off at number 25, we've got Houston. Houston actually not a flashy schedule so far, not any flashy wins, but their only loss so far is to Texas Tech. So I can't really knock them for that. They've only got one loss. Houston enters the top 25. They might not be here very long, but they had a win over a solid Arizona team this week. So Houston enters the top 25. Number 24 and 23, really even 22, kind of all tied together. All two-loss teams from the Big Ten. 24, I've got Michigan. Good bounce back win this week over Washington. And then USC, they've got 2 losses, but they've been competitive. Close, like 10-point loss to Notre Dame this week. They also have a good win over Michigan. Then as for Illinois, similar situation. They've got a good win over USC. Their only 2 losses are to the top 2 teams in the country. Indiana did wipe the floor with Illinois, so they've been out of my top 25 for a while now. But the better Indiana looks, the more the weeks go on, the better Indiana looks, so the better ultimately Illinois is going to look, despite getting spanked, because they also kind of did a similar thing to Duke, and it turns out Duke's not bad either. 21 USF. Again, their only loss is not a bad one. Okay, losing to Miami, I realize Miami lost, but still, that's not a bad loss by any means, especially with Memphis going down. USF, also with UNLV going down, USF looks like the favorite right now. Probably going to be them or Tulane. Texas Tech comes in at 20. They lose to Arizona State. They did not have their quarterback in that game. Now, if you would have told me after the Utah game that the backup wasn't going to be as good as the starter, I kind of would have assumed you were wrong, because he looked pretty good against Utah. But this game didn't look as good. They almost came back in this one. But ultimately, Arizona State with Sam Levitt back was too much. So Arizona State, team to watch out for in the Big 12. Tech takes a little step back. They're still all right. They still control their own destiny, but a bit of a letdown for, kind of hoping for the undefeated season. 19 and 18, got to tie them together. But first off, let's start with 19 in Louisville. Yes, I have them below Miami right now. Yes, they have the same amount of losses, but Louisville, I still would probably bet Miami, if they were playing on Friday nights. Sometimes is recipe for chaos. And that happened this week. Now, I don't think Louisville's bad by any means. I think they're actually pretty good. Like, if they played Virginia again, I'd probably think they would beat Virginia. But Louisville, really impressive win there. Jeff Brom, probably the most underrated coach in the country right now. 18, Virginia. I think it's a matter of time before Virginia falls back down to earth and loses. They're really close each week, but right now, still only got the one loss, still got the big quality win over Louisville in overtime. So Virginia still in the top 25 right now. I got them at 18. 17, I've got Oklahoma. Only one loss. If them and Texas were to play again, I do think they look better than Texas, but Texas defense shut them down when they did play, so I'm going to give Texas the edge there. But Oklahoma, not playing against Texas, they actually look pretty good right now. Solid win over South Carolina this week. 16, Texas. Speaking of them, they had the win over Oklahoma, but other than that, man, their offense, even in that game, their offense is terrible. I don't know if it's Sarkisian. It's a mixture of Sark's play calling. It's a mixture of Arch Manning not being able to hit the broadside of a barn. It's a mixture of their O-line not being able to block. I mean, it's a whole mixture of things. Their defense is playing their butts off. They're on the field for 3/4 of the game, but their offense is just 3 and out, can't do anything. Only touchdown they scored against Kentucky today was set up after a big it was either after an interception or a punt return. I can't remember, but still, that was the only time they scored a touchdown in that game. Texas got to get that offense fixed. That's on Steve Sarkisian. 15, Tennessee. Them and LSU all tied together as well. Both 2 losses in SEC play. Both lost this week, but I would rank them above Texas and Oklahoma right now. I don't think any of these 4 teams are probably going to make the playoff. But LSU and Tennessee, if they were to win out, they're all right. I think out of these 4, if you ask me who had the best chance, it'd probably be LSU and Oklahoma. 13, Missouri. They survive a scare against Auburn in overtime. Missouri, I don't really know what to think of them. I don't think they are that good, but they didn't just get absolutely demolished by Alabama either. So they're all right. Like, they could end up sneaking in with 1 loss. They're not really. They could kind of be similar like last year's Indiana, I think, when it comes to the playoff. Sneak in with 1 loss, like a SMU did, and then ultimately not be very good. 12, Notre Dame. Got them behind Miami, but again, their losses are still very good. Not Indiana, Texas A&M and Miami. Notre Dame had a good win over USC. They control their own destiny as well. If they win out, they're not getting left out with 2 losses, especially with who they lost to. Number 11, Miami lost to Louisville, but Miami, I think, is still in good shape. I would still place a bet on them to make the playoff. Again, like I said, playing on Friday, sometimes you never know what's going to happen, and that happened to Miami. 10, I've got Oregon. They've got the 1 loss to Indiana. They had a nice bounce back win this week over Rutgers, so they re-entered the top 10. 9, Georgia Tech, still undefeated in the ACC. ACC is really up for grabs for anybody. Uh, I think they'll all end up cannibalizing themselves, and probably only one team will make it, but we'll see. Georgia Tech's kind of on thin ice. They're barely winning these games, so I think eventually they're going to drop a couple, but we'll see. Number 8, BYU, they enter the top 10 for me as well at number 8. With Texas Tech losing, BYU looks like the new favorite in the Big 12, so we'll see what happens there. I figure the Big 12 will cannibalize itself as well, kind of like last year to where they end up screwing themselves to where none of their teams end up making it besides the champ. But we'll see what happens there. BYU, big win over Utah. 7, Vanderbilt, big win over LSU this week. Vanderbilt's legit, I think. I think they could legitimately make the playoff. It's going to be tough. SEC, I mean, every week a team can beat you, no matter if it's, the worst team or what. Like we saw Kentucky play with Texas today. We've seen Mississippi State be able to play with teams. I think Vanderbilt is legit, though. Big win over LSU. 6, Ole Miss. I know they lost, but I was actually impressed with Ole Miss. They played with Georgia. I didn't really think they were capable of doing that. That was a close competitive game in Georgia. So Ole Miss, I think, has a better chance of making the playoff than I originally thought as well. Speaking of Georgia, coming in number 5, I've got them. Their only loss so far is to Bama. Now, they are somewhat flirting with it some games. They're really close to losing, like we saw even last week against Auburn, I think. But or either last week or 2 weeks ago, I can't remember. But Georgia, still, I think they're just so talented across the board. They're in good shape. Number 4, Alabama. I think besides Ohio State, Alabama looks like the best team in the country right now. Them and Florida State went to the opposite ends of the spectrum after that. Alabama lost to them. They got better. Florida State won, and that was their Super Bowl, and they've gotten worse each week. But Alabama looks legit right now. I'd probably put them behind Ohio State if you ask me to power rank these teams. 3, Texas A&M. They are still undefeated. I worry we're going to end up being in a situation same as last year to where going into like the last couple weeks, looks like they're going to be in the SEC championship in the playoff. Then they slowly start dropping a couple games and completely miss out, but survived one today against Arkansas. Number 2, Indiana. Good win today over Michigan State. Michigan State's not very good, but Indiana did what they're supposed to do, took care of business. And number 1, I've got Ohio State. They look like the best team to me right now. They are across the board super talented, and they're really consistent. They don't have the slip-ups like some of these teams ultimately have where they'll lose a game to somebody they shouldn't lose to. So Ohio State I've got coming in number 1. But what are your thoughts on my top 25? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? All that good stuff. Let me know down in the comment section. Make sure to like this video and subscribe.